The defining moment of the Caitlin Clark era may not come during a playoff game. It may not be a shot, it may not be a rivalry, it may not even be public. It will likely happen in a conference room, on a spreadsheet, because as the WNBA prepares for structural financial change under a new collective bargaining agreement, the Indiana Fever are approaching something every ascending franchise eventually faces. A cap crossroads. This isn't about drama. This isn't about personalities. This is about architecture. And architecture determines whether eras last. Indiana has three high-level talents: Caitlin Clark, Aaliyah Boston, Kelsey Mitchell. But in a hard salary cap league, the question is never, do you want them? The question is, can you build sustainably around them? Today, we're breaking down the new financial system Indiana is entering, the timeline alignment of its stars, the business shift created by Clark, the depth dilemma, expansion pressure, contract modeling scenarios, the three strategic paths forward, and what this means for the next 5 years. This isn't about emotion, it's about franchise identity. The upcoming CBA is expected to raise the salary cap significantly. On the surface, that sounds like relief. More money, higher ceilings, greater flexibility. But here's the nuance. When the cap rises, max and supermax contracts rise proportionally. Projected structures suggest a supermax-level deal could consume roughly 20% of a team's cap. 3 players at that level? Approximately 60%. That leaves 40% to fill, 8 to 9 additional roster spots. Playoff depth, defensive specialists, injury replacements, veteran insurance, trade flexibility. This isn't theoretical, it's arithmetic. The Fever are currently operating inside what executives call a rookie efficiency window. Clark and Boston are producing star-level impact on rookie-scale deals. That window is temporary. Boston's extension eligibility is approaching. Clark's future extension will likely reflect both performance and commercial gravity. Once those 2 deals activate, Indiana's financial structure tightens dramatically. This is where foresight matters. Every successful rebuild benefits from a rookie contract advantage phase. It's the moment when elite talent is underpaid relative to production. That's when teams add veterans aggressively. That's when flexibility peaks. Indiana is currently in that phase. But the moment Boston signs her extension, that phase ends. The moment Clark signs hers, the cap sheet shifts permanently. Front offices don't wait until that day. They plan 3 years ahead. Because once a team becomes top-heavy financially, pivoting becomes nearly impossible. This is why timing matters more than sentiment. Championship teams align primes. Let's examine timelines. Caitlin Clark, beginning of prime trajectory. Aaliyah, Boston, entering foundational prime. Kelsey Mitchell, inactive prime. There is no disrespect in that analysis. It's simple aging curve modeling. The Clark-Boston pairing projects as a multi-year developmental arc. Mitchell's leverage window is strongest now. When cap weight peaks before the championship window opens, friction forms. Front offices must ask, when is our true contention window? If it's 3 to 5 years from now, does current salary concentration align with that? Or does it compress flexibility prematurely? These are not emotional questions. They are strategic ones. Hard-capped leagues punish imbalance. If 60% of payroll belongs to 3 players, mid-tier free agents become unaffordable. Retaining role players becomes difficult. Injury recovery flexibility disappears. Bench scoring becomes volatile. Recent WNBA champions did not win solely because of stars. They won because depth survived playoff adjustments. Depth absorbs foul trouble. Depth absorbs shooting variance. Depth absorbs injury. Indiana must decide, do we prioritize top-end concentration or structural balance? Neither is morally superior, but they lead to different 5-year outcomes. Caitlin Clark altered the Fever's business model. Attendance increased, broadcast frequency expanded, merchandise surged, road games sold out. When a player changes revenue streams, planning changes around that player. Ownership protects revenue multipliers. Clark's extension will reflect more than points per game. It will reflect economic value. Boston aligns perfectly with that trajectory. If those two become the structural core, the third contract becomes the adjustable variable, not because of talent hierarchy, because of percentage allocation. League expansion changes negotiation dynamics. New franchises need star power. They often pay aggressively. That increases market leverage for prime scorers. Mitchell entering peak earning years during expansion is not coincidence. It's opportunity. Indiana must decide whether matching that market protects the franchise or constrains it. Expansion doesn't just change rosters, it changes leverage. Let's outline the 3 realistic paths. Scenario 1. Full commitment. Indiana signs Mitchell long-term at Supermax level. Clark and Boston sign extensions. The trio becomes the defined core. Outcome: strong continuity, limited flexibility, high cap concentration, increased risk if depth thins, high ceiling, tight margins. Scenario 2. Short-term bridge strategy. Indiana retains Mitchell short-term, core, or bridge deal. Delays long-term overlap. Maintains optionality. Outcome: 1 more evaluation season. Less immediate backlash. Deferred tension. Future decision unavoidable. Stability now, decision later. Scenario 3. Early alignment pivot. Indiana prioritizes Clark and Boston long-term, allows Mitchell to maximize external market value. Outcome: increased flexibility, younger timeline alignment, public backlash, offensive adjustment period, lower immediate comfort, higher long-term maneuverability. Let's zoom out. If Indiana commits to 3 Supermax-level deals overlapping, by year 3, cap space becomes rigid. Bench depth becomes draft-dependent. Injury risk amplifies impact. If Indiana aligns 2 max anchors and preserves flexibility, by year 3, trade flexibility increases. Free agent maneuvering improves. Depth replenishment stabilizes. The Clark era is projected to mature in years 3 to 5. Which structure best supports that maturity window? That's the real question. This isn't about loyalty. It isn't about headlines. It isn't about choosing favorites. It's about identity. Is Indiana building a 3-star brand or a Clark-Boston-centered sustainable machine? Franchises that recognize generational players early often reshape structure around them. Not because others lack value, but because alignment determines longevity. The Clark era is no longer theoretical. It is operational. And operational eras demand discipline. The cap sheet will not negotiate emotionally. It will calculate. The Fever are not deciding who they like. They're deciding what kind of franchise they want to be for the next decade. And that decision won't be made in front of cameras. It will be made in silence. On percentages, on projections, on identity. Because in capped leagues, eras aren't built by accident. They're engineered.